season. Obviously, it didn't finish the way we would have liked. I give credit to Philadelphia. I watched them get better as the playoffs went on, but just from our guys to come out for Game 7 and play with that level of intensity, play with that level of trust, that's the style that, we felt like we've been doing all year, and I loved it. It was a pleasure. Each and every one of those guys I've watched develop, get better, and step up in big moments and help us win games. Tonight we came up a little bit short. The fourth quarter we had some great looks that I wish would have went down, but nothing to hang my head over. Nothing for our team to hang our head over.
Jaylen, you guys didn't score. You scored 100 or fewer points in 4 of the 7 games in this series. I know the shots have to fall for the points to be on the board, but was there something about your guys' offense that wasn't able to play the same way as the regular season? Like, what did you see that led to some of those offensive struggles outside of just the missed shots?
Say that again. So we said 4 games out of 5.
4 out of 7, you guys were at 100 points or fewer, and like I said, like the shots have to go in, and you guys missed some open looks. But outside of that, was there something about the way they were defending you or your guys' offensive process that you think didn't match what it was?
This is the playoffs. They're a good offensive team. It's not the regular season, we had to adjust throughout the series, and stuff like that, and different lineups, different adjustments, and it just didn't go our way. But the style we played tonight, I think that, that's a great style. We just played fast and freer. I think we played a little bit more pace than we had in the previous games. And, I felt great about how our team responded. Obviously down one of our best player, our, superstar, Jayson Tatum, wasn't there, which could have helped. But I'm proud of my team.
Jaylen, how do you define success and failure? Like, do you view any season that falls short of a title as a failure? Peyton was talking about how he looked at it as a stepping stone to the next title, and that's kind of how the paradigm through which he views things. Like, how do you look at this type of postseason?
I mean, it's hard to reflect on it just right now because it's so fresh in the moment. But, obviously this organization is used to playing later into the season. I think this is my first time, having a first-round exit. But, this season, what the expectations were and how we came out and we rose to meet that level of uncertainty with this group is nothing more I could ask for. I had a great time with my teammates. We played hard. I feel like we left it all out there tonight, and we came up short.
Jaylen, you guys had opportunities throughout this series to kind of close it out, knowing that this is there are going to be changes to the roster. Is there any feeling of like regret or anything like that you guys had missed an opportunity to extend this and continue playing with these guys?
No feelings of regret whatsoever. Obviously, we would have liked to close it out and win in 5 games or win in 6 games, but Philadelphia is a good basketball team, and they've gotten better since the regular season. Embiid is playing at a high level, and it's the playoffs. We knew it was going to be a fight, and we didn't expect nothing less. Nothing to hang our head over. I got no regrets. I don't think my teammates should have any regrets. We had good games. We had bad games. That's the slime, and we had an opportunity to win tonight, and we just came up short.
Jaylen, when did you find out about Jayson being able to sit out tonight? And obviously, you guys made a pretty big radical change with the starting lineup. The group hadn't played all season together. How did that kind of go from your vantage point?
I found out probably like 45 minutes before the game. Nobody told me anything, which but mindset was the same.
And then Joe tonight also threw a lot of. Obviously, he was mixing and matching a lot. You talked about the pace you guys played of playing small a lot. Do you wish you guys kind of tried that maybe a little earlier in this series of just going small? Obviously, with Embiid back, he seemed to just change.
I'm David Lloyd. SportsCenter continues for the next hour. We continue our post-game coverage of Celtics Sixers and Jaylen Brown at the mic.
we didn't really have an answer for him. We tried a bunch of different things, and he's a big body, and he also was flopping around. He got some extra calls and stuff like that, and they rewarded him for that. But that's the league that we're in. So that's all I got to say.
Jaylen, you had said earlier about the gap, like, this was a gap year. Like, you kind of used that as kind of fuel. Is there a level of maybe not regret but disappointment that you guys couldn't build on what you did in the regular season? And do you guys in the future have to change maybe and tweak the style that you play to maybe get farther?
Tonight, I wish we played that style and trusted that style more, even throughout the playoffs, even through wins and through losses. Obviously, it's not always the easiest decision, but I wish that style for our team was how we empowered the rest of our group. And you saw tonight how everybody came out and they played their tail off. I wish we trusted that more.
And in terms of just the future, does this motivate when you get a healthy Jayson back after obviously 4 or 5 now months off? You're going to get into the lab. Is it tough to think about next year, or are you?
Yeah, it's tough to think about next year, next season. I got emotions from just tonight. Overall, I feel like I said before, it was a great season. I think I'm proud of my teammates and just their growth from, guys of, coming from different organizations or guys who haven't really played a lot or who stepped up big in these playoffs and who stepped up big in the regular season and helped us get to the position that we're at. That's what it's about, man. I'm so grateful to be with this group. This group was awesome. I had a fun year. This is probably one of my most fun years playing basketball. It wasn't always perfect. It wasn't always analytically, aesthetically pleasing. But we won a lot of basketball games, and people could see the grit and the fight that we play with every single night. And tonight was an example of that. We left it all out there. We played 5 small guys. We played a rookie. We played whatever, and we scrapped all the way to the end. Just came up a few plays short.
Julian, I'm back here from the Globe. I was just curious. I was going to ask about just the mindset shift from playing without Jayson for so much of the season, then playing an important game without him. But then you say you only found out 45 minutes before the game. So I was like, man, that's not even enough. That's not a whole lot of time to prepare.
Maybe it was like an hour.
Like an hour. But yeah, I guess how did you prepare for that? And just finding out 45 minutes, and was it kind of jarring, to not have that much lead time?
So I'm not sure if it was still like. I don't know if he was still considering playing, but I honestly, I didn't look at my phone today. Maybe somebody let me know. I wasn't paying attention to nothing. I was just focused on the game. So once we started getting ready for the game, then I realized that, JT was out. But, my mindset was on trying to win the game tonight. I wasn't looking at my phone and ask somebody for nothing. And my mindset was come out and win. And we came up short.
Jaylen, this was a really, over here on your right, really unusual series in a lot of ways, including the fact that the Sixers came into this as a 7, so this goes down technically as an upset, but that's a team with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey and Paul George. How would you describe the challenge of playing that team, and did it feel like you were playing a team that came in as a 7 seed?
Yeah, I don't feel like there was a traditional 7 seed. I think that Paul George was playing at a high level. He was shooting the ball, for someone who just had his 36th birthday. He had a very efficient series, and he was very effective against some of the matchups that he was in. And then Maxey was just doing what Maxey had been doing all year. And then Embiid made the significant difference. Like, we just didn't really have an answer for Embiid in the games that he played. He just was a problem for us. And obviously, we didn't know if he was going to be able to play because of his, appendicitis or whatever you call it. But I think that made the difference. But give credit to Nick Nurse. Give credit to Philadelphia. They got better. They've gotten better throughout this series. They playing good basketball right now. Defensively, I thought they were very, very sound. So I give credit to Philadelphia.
You heard Jaylen Brown talking about as a player, too, either way. Celtics did not make the plays down the stretch. Take a look at the last 5 minutes of this game. Celtics were within a point with 5 minutes left and then went stone cold, made just one shot the rest of the way, 0 for 9 from downtown. And that was the difference. Celtics season is done, and the Sixers